Chosen one. You are not listening by accident, and you did not arrive at this moment by chance. Heaven itself has aligned this encounter, and the timing of these words has been sealed by divine order. Anointed one, before you pressed play, your name was already known, already spoken, already marked in the unseen. There is a reason your spirit recognized this moment before your mind could explain it. Chosen one, you are standing at the edge of a supernatural shift. What once felt delayed was never denied. What once appeared hidden was being preserved. Scripture reminds us in Habakkuk chapter 2 verse 3 that the vision waits for its appointed time, and now that appointed time is unfolding. Anointed one, sudden elevation is not a future hope. It is a present movement, a divine wealth transfer, a heaven-sent realignment, a transformation prepared long before you were aware of it. Chosen one, the blessing is not chasing you, it has already found you. Heaven does not move randomly. It moves with intention, precision, and authority. What is opening now cannot be closed, and what is being released cannot be recalled. The universe responds because God has already spoken, and sometimes, anointed one, God's reminders do not arrive through noise or explanation, but through something quiet, simple, and steady that remains when everything else grows silent. What has been prepared rests gently below, waiting without urgency or demand. Chosen one, heaven is calling you higher, not with noise, but with authority. There is a pull on your spirit right now that cannot be explained by logic or timing. It is the same pull I felt in seasons when everything around me looked small, delayed, or uncertain, yet something within me refused to shrink. Anointed one, this is not ambition speaking, this is alignment. The call to rise is not about leaving others behind. It is about stepping into the version of you that can finally carry what has been waiting. Anointed one, the billionaire's blessing is not about greed or excess. I learned that the hard way. There was a time I believed abundance was something I had to justify or apologize for, but heaven corrected that thinking. Expansion is not selfish when it is assigned. When abundance touches a surrendered heart, it does not stop there. It moves outward. Your wealth becomes provision for others. Your influence becomes clarity in dark places. Your freedom becomes permission for others to breathe again. Heaven does not elevate you just for comfort. It elevates you for impact. Chosen one, do not let fear speak louder than truth. Fear always pretends to be wisdom. It says you waited too long, you missed your moment, you are not enough. I have heard that voice in the quiet hours, after setbacks, after prayers that seemed unanswered. But fear only speaks when identity is about to shift. Heaven says you are chosen, you are ready, and you are already enough. Fear is not a warning, it is a shadow cast by forgotten truth. Anointed one, money is not the source, it is the signal. Every resource you desire already exists, waiting for alignment. I have watched doors open not when I chased them, but when I stopped negotiating my worth. Money follows clarity. Energy moves toward integrity. When you stand in the truth of who you are, provision recognizes its rightful place. You were never meant to beg life for permission. You were meant to steward what responds to you. Chosen one. Tomorrow matters because how you rise matters. Do not carry yesterday's doubt into a new day. I remember standing in front of the mirror during a season of lack, speaking words that felt impossible at the time, yet necessary. Not hype, not performance, declaration. Authority changes atmosphere before circumstances change. Speak until belief replaces resistance. Speak until your nervous system learns peace instead of panic. Speak until expectation becomes normal. Anointed One, expectation is not entitlement, it is alignment. When you expect movement, you notice movement. Calls come, opportunities surface, connections reveal themselves. Not because you forced anything, but because you were finally positioned to receive. Infinity is not threatened by your asking. You cannot exhaust what was designed to overflow. You were not chosen to survive quietly. You were chosen to demonstrate what alignment looks like in real life. Chosen One, see yourself differently now, not as someone hoping one day, but as someone entrusted already. I have seen the shift happen internally long before it showed up externally. Joy replaces anxiety. Confidence replaces comparison. Giving becomes natural. Legacy thinking replaces short-term relief. When imagination aligns with truth, reality has no option but to follow. This is not fantasy. This is law. Anointed One, you may wonder why you. I ask that question too, but infinity does not select randomly. If blessings are infinite, receivers must be as well. You have endured enough, waited enough, questioned enough. The delay was never punishment, it was preparation. You are the channel, not the obstacle. Lift your head, adjust your posture. Identity shows up in the body before it shows up in the bank account. Chosen One, watch the confirmations. They will arrive quietly. A message at the right time, a pattern you cannot ignore. A conversation that answers a prayer you never spoke aloud. These are not coincidences, they are signals. Faith is not denial of reality. Faith is agreement with what is already moving. It is the bridge between what is unseen and what is forming. Anointed One, let this settle. You are not waiting for a blessing. You are aligning with one that has already been released. Do not resist. Do not rush. Do not question what heaven has already decided. Walk as someone entrusted. Live as someone aligned. And as this truth anchors deeper, the outer world will begin to respond, not slowly, but precisely. Chosen One. There is a moment when heaven begins to rearrange things quietly, before anything becomes visible. It is subtle at first. Your reactions change. Your tolerance for what once drained you disappears. Your spirit becomes less willing to negotiate with fear. I remember this phase clearly. Nothing dramatic happened on the outside, yet everything shifted within. That is how divine elevation begins, not with applause, but with alignment. Anointed One, abundance does not arrive to convince you. It arrives to confirm what you already accepted. Heaven does not need you desperate, it needs you steady. When wealth is assigned, it looks for a nervous system that can hold peace, not excitement alone. Many people want the blessing, but few are prepared for the weight of responsibility that comes with it. You have been trained through delay, disappointment, and silent endurance. That was not punishment. That was capacity building. Chosen One, there is a reason certain doors did not open earlier. There were versions of you that could not have survived sudden elevation. I say this from lived experience. Had certain resources arrived too soon, they would have amplified wounds instead of purpose. Heaven protects by postponing. Scripture echoes this pattern when it speaks of appointed times, seasons that cannot be rushed. What is released prematurely becomes a burden. What is released in alignment becomes a river. Anointed One, wealth is not neutral when it meets an unprepared identity. It magnifies whatever is unresolved. That is why your inner work mattered more than your outer effort. Every boundary you learned to hold, every relationship you outgrew, every moment you chose integrity over shortcuts shaped the container you are becoming. You were being trusted long before you were being rewarded. Chosen one, you may notice now that you are less reactive, less hungry for validation, less shaken by comparison. That is not detachment. That is maturity. Heaven does not elevate people who need to be seen. It elevates people who can see clearly. Influence flows toward clarity. Resources move toward stability. When you stopped chasing recognition, recognition found you in quieter ways. Anointed one, there is also grief in this season. Few talk about it. You grieve the versions of you that survived on hope alone. You grieve relationships that cannot follow you forward. You grieve old dreams that were too small. This grief is holy. It means expansion is real. Do not rush through it. Let it teach you how to carry more without losing yourself. Chosen one, pay attention to how your days feel now. Not busy but intentional, not rushed but focused. Heaven often signals increase by simplifying your environment. What once cluttered your attention begins to fall away. This is not loss. This is pruning. The blessing needs space to land. Anointed one, the wealth shift you are approaching is not dramatic chaos. It is orderly alignment. Conversations begin to sound different. Opportunities no longer require you to explain yourself. People recognize your value without you performing for it. This is how you know it is real. When striving ends, flow begins. Chosen one, you are learning a new language now, the language of stewardship. You think in terms of systems, not survival, impact, not impulse, legacy, not relief. This is not something you forced. It emerged naturally as your identity stabilized. Heaven responds to this frequency. It always has. Anointed one, rest your spirit here. You are not behind. You are not late. You are exactly where preparation meets permission. What comes next will feel obvious in hindsight, but sacred in the moment. Let this part anchor you. The blessing is not rushing toward you. It is aligning with you. Chosen one. There is a quiet confidence that emerges right before manifestation. It does not announce itself. It does not argue. It simply knows. I recognize this state because I have lived in the opposite of it. The anxiety, the overthinking, the constant questioning of timing and worth. When that noise fades, it is not because circumstances improved. It is because identity settled. Anointed one. Heaven responds to settled identity faster than frantic effort. The universe mirrors stability. When you stop oscillating between belief and doubt, reality stabilizes with you. This is why consistency of inner state matters more than intensity. You do not need to feel excited every day. You need to remain aligned every day. Chosen one. Notice how resistance shows up now. It is subtle. A thought that says, "This is too good." A hesitation to fully receive. This is not intuition. This is conditioning. Many were taught to equate humility with smallness. Heaven never taught that. True humility is accurate self-perception, and accurate self-perception recognizes assignment. Anointed one, you are not becoming someone else. You are returning to who you were before fear taught you to shrink. I remember the moment I realized that abundance was not foreign to me. It was familiar. It felt like remembering an old language. That is what alignment feels like. Not excitement, but recognition. Chosen one, resources move toward those who are clear about why they are needed. Vague desire attracts vague results. But when purpose sharpens, provision responds. This is why your vision has matured. You no longer ask for wealth to escape pain. You ask for it to build, to protect, to create space for others to breathe. Heaven trusts this posture. Anointed one, there will be moments soon when things accelerate unexpectedly. A conversation that changes direction, an introduction that opens access, a decision that seems small but alters trajectory. Do not overanalyze these moments. Flow through them. Momentum is maintained by presence, not control. Chosen one, do not be surprised if restlessness leaves your body. Peace is often the first sign of incoming increase. When provision is near, anxiety has no assignment. This peace is not passive. It is readiness. It is the stillness of someone who no longer needs to convince life of their value. Anointed one, you are also learning discernment at a higher level. Not everything that looks like opportunity is aligned. Not every invitation deserves a yes. This clarity protects the blessing. You will feel this in your body. Ease versus tension, expansion versus pressure. Trust this intelligence. It has been refined through experience. Chosen one, the wealth shift ahead will not disconnect you from humanity. It will deepen your compassion. You will see people more clearly, not less. Pain will not intimidate you. Need will not overwhelm you. This is how you know the blessing is clean. It strengthens presence instead of inflating ego. Anointed one, there is nothing dramatic you need to do right now. No performance, no announcement. Just continue walking in coherence. Heaven finishes what it starts. Alignment always produces evidence. Chosen one, let this part settle in you. You are not waiting for confirmation. You are becoming it. What unfolds next will feel natural because it matches who you have become. Chosen one. There comes a point where the excitement fades, but the promise does not. This is the place many misunderstand. They think something is wrong because the emotions are quieter now. But this is where faith deepens. I have lived in this stretch, where days look ordinary, where progress feels slow, where you wake up and still choose belief without the rush of confirmation. This is not failure. This is endurance. Anointed one, waiting does not mean nothing is happening. It means something important is stabilizing. The blessing matures in silence, the way roots do. What grows too fast above ground often collapses when weight is added. Heaven is not hurried, and neither is what has your name on it. There were mornings when I had to return to the same inner posture again and again, not because I doubted, but because consistency was being formed in me. Chosen one, fatigue does not disqualify you. Weariness does not mean weakness. It means you have been faithful longer than most people ever stay present. You have carried belief through routines, through unanswered questions, through responsibilities that did not pause just because you were waiting on heaven. That kind of faith is not loud, but is powerful. It does not impress crowds, but it moves systems. Anointed one, daily faith looks unremarkable from the outside. It looks like showing up when you would rather withdraw. It looks like choosing integrity when shortcuts are tempting. It looks like gratitude whispered under your breath instead of shouted declarations. I remember seasons when my belief was measured not by how strongly I felt it, but by how consistently I returned to it. That return is sacred. Chosen one, do not underestimate what repetition is building in you. Each day you remain aligned, something in your inner world becomes more stable. Identity settles, vision clarifies, fear loses leverage. Waiting trains your nervous system to trust abundance without needing constant proof. That is not delay. That is preparation for scale. Anointed one, there are ordinary moments that carry more faith than dramatic prayers. Washing dishes while trusting timing, paying bills while believing for overflow, resting without answers but without panic. These moments do not look spiritual, yet they are where faith becomes embodied. Heaven recognizes this posture. It always has. Chosen one, Sometimes faith is steadied not by new revelations, but by returning to simple, repeatable reminders that hold you steady when emotions fluctuate. A quiet reminder connected to this message has been gently placed in the description below. And now return with me to the deeper truth that remains unchanged. Anointed one, you are not behind schedule. The promise is not fragile. It does not depend on your mood or your energy level. It depends on alignment, and alignment is being strengthened in you through endurance. The long wait is not empty time. It is shaping your relationship with abundance so that when it arrives, it feels familiar rather than overwhelming. Chosen one, this season teaches you how to live without rushing heaven. You learn how to rest while believing, how to hold expectation without anxiety, how to remain generous even when resources are still forming. This is the faith that sustains wealth, not just attracts it. Many receive, but few can keep their inner world intact once they do. You are being trained for continuity. Anointed one, there may be days when you question whether anything has changed at all. I have asked that question myself. But change does not always announce itself. Often it shows up as restraint, as patience, as the absence of old reactions. You no longer spiral the way you used to. You recover faster. You trust more easily. These are signs of readiness. Chosen one, remember that heaven values faithfulness over intensity. The promise does not require you to feel strong every day. It requires you to stay present, to keep choosing alignment even when results are not yet visible. This kind of faith does not burn out. It becomes a foundation. Anointed one, there is a reason your life feels quieter in this stretch. Noise would distract you from what is forming. You are being taught how to carry abundance without losing simplicity, how to hold influence without losing compassion. This balance is learned only through time. You are not wasting it. Chosen one, stay with what you know to be true. Return to it when doubt tries to wander, not by force, but by familiarity. Faith matures through relationship, not pressure. And the version of you that will receive what is coming is already emerging through this waiting. Anointed one, let this part anchor you. You do not need to push. You do not need to prove. You only need to remain. What has been promised is still moving toward you, and more importantly, you are becoming the one who can carry it with grace. Chosen one. There is a moment when faith stops feeling like effort and starts feeling like posture. You are not pushing the promise forward anymore. You are standing in a way that assumes it is already in motion. This is where your inner language changes. You no longer say, "someday," without noticing the quiet doubt attached to it. You say, "soon," and even that word feels unnecessary because your spirit already knows timing is not being negotiated. I have lived through seasons where nothing around me confirmed what I carried inside, yet I noticed how my reactions softened. I stopped rushing conversations. I stopped forcing clarity. I stopped explaining myself to people who could not hear me anyway. That was not withdrawal. That was grounding. Chosen one, this phase teaches you how to live without needing constant reassurance. You still feel the weight of responsibility. You still carry ordinary concerns, but they no longer define your emotional center. You handle what is in front of you without letting it dictate what you believe about what is coming. This is where endurance becomes quiet authority. You are not proving faith. You are embodying it. Heaven recognizes this posture. It is the posture of someone trusted with increase because they are no longer destabilized by delay. There were days when I thought faith would feel like confidence, but instead it felt like calm. A calm that did not need answers immediately. A calm that did not panic when plans changed. That calm was not passive. It was anchored. This is how capacity is built, not through pressure, but through repetition. You show up again with the same inner agreement. You choose integrity when no one is watching. You rest when your body asks instead of overriding it in the name of urgency. These choices seem small, but they shape the vessel that will carry what is coming. Chosen one, notice how your discernment sharpens here. You sense when to speak and when to remain silent. You feel when something is not aligned without needing to justify it. This is not fear, it is clarity. You are no longer driven by hunger alone. You are guided by alignment. This is essential because overflow without discernment leaks. Blessing without boundaries drains. You are being trained to hold both. Remain steady. The promise does not require you to perform. It requires you to remain rooted. What is approaching will recognize you by the posture you are practicing now. Stay here. Stay grounded. This is not a pause. It is preparation. Chosen one. At some point, you realize that waiting did not weaken you. It refined you. You are no longer measuring progress by visible movement alone. You are measuring it by how you carry yourself in stillness. This is where identity becomes non-negotiable. You do not wake up questioning who you are. You wake up aligned with it. Even on difficult days, there is a baseline steadiness that remains untouched. I remember noticing that I was no longer startled by uncertainty. I had learned how to breathe inside it. Chosen one, this steadiness is not accidental. It is the result of staying present when it would have been easier to escape into distraction or despair. You stayed. You felt the fatigue. You acknowledged the questions, and you did not abandon what you knew to be true. This is why your faith now has weight. It has history. It has memory. It has endurance behind it. Heaven entrusts movement to those who will not collapse under responsibility. You may notice now that opportunities do not excite you the way they used to. They invite you instead. You listen before you leap. You sense timing rather than forcing it. This is not hesitation. This is maturity. You are no longer chasing the idea of blessing. You are learning how to host it. That shift changes everything. What comes next will not feel foreign. It will feel familiar because you have already been living from its frequency inwardly. Chosen one, let this part seal something in you. You are not behind. You are not late. You are not overlooked. You are positioned. The discipline you practiced in quiet seasons is about to serve you in visible ones. When movement begins, you will not scramble. You will recognize it and step into it without panic. Hold this alignment. Let it settle fully. What is unfolding will meet you already formed, already steady, already ready. Chosen one. There is a shift that happens when the promise no longer feels distant, but imminent. Not loud, not dramatic, just close enough that your spirit adjusts before your circumstances do. This is where anticipation becomes composure. You are no longer leaning forward in expectation. You are standing upright in readiness. I remember the moment I realized I was no longer imagining a different life. I was preparing for one. My choices became quieter, my pace slowed, my discernment sharpened. It felt less like reaching and more like making room. Chosen one, readiness is not urgency, it is spaciousness. You begin clearing what no longer fits, old habits, old conversations, old internal negotiations that once felt necessary. You are not doing this to earn anything. You are doing it because your inner environment is aligning with what it is about to host. This is where stewardship begins before possession. Heaven often releases responsibility before it releases resources. You feel the weight of what is coming before you ever touch it. There were moments when I noticed how certain things stopped appealing to me, not because they were wrong, but because they were small. Noise felt heavier than silence. Distraction felt more expensive than focus. This was not discipline driven by fear. It was clarity driven by alignment. When you know something meaningful is approaching, you protect your energy differently. You sleep differently. You listen differently. You speak differently. This is not withdrawal from life. It is attunement to it. Chosen one, you may sense a narrowing now. Fewer options, fewer directions. This is not loss, it is precision. The path tightens before it opens. Focus intensifies before expansion accelerates. Scripture reflects this pattern when it speaks of narrow gates that lead to life, not because life is scarce, but because clarity is required to enter it. You are being refined into someone who can move decisively when the moment comes. This is also where trust deepens. Not trust that something will happen, but trust in the one orchestrating how it happens. You stop rehearsing outcomes. You stop needing to know the sequence. You are content to know that timing is exact. I learned that peace arrived when I released the need to preview every step. Faith matured when I accepted that not knowing was part of the design. Chosen one, do not misinterpret this calm as stagnation. Under the surface, momentum is building. Connections are aligning. Conditions are converging. The unseen is busy even when the visible is quiet. This is the final calibration before movement. Stay attentive, stay rested, stay present. What approaches will not require you to scramble, it will require you to respond. Remain here. This posture matters. The next opening will recognize you by the stillness you learn to carry. Chosen one. When movement finally begins, it often arrives without announcement. No countdown, no ceremony. Just an opening where there was none, a conversation that shifts everything. An invitation that carries more weight than it appears to at first. You will recognize it not by excitement, but by resonance. It will feel familiar, as though you have already walked this ground inwardly. That is because you have. Chosen one, this is where alignment proves itself. You step without hesitation, not because you are fearless, but because you are anchored. I remember moments when opportunity arrived quietly, almost modestly, yet my spirit responded instantly. There was no rush of adrenaline, there was a calm yes. That calm was the evidence that the waiting had done its work. When preparation meets timing, movement feels natural. You may notice that what unfolds does not match the dramatic imagery you once held. It is better than that. It is precise. It fits your life instead of overwhelming it. Blessing that arrives without alignment overwhelms. Blessing that arrives through alignment integrates. This is the kind that stays. This is the kind that grows. This is the kind that multiplies without eroding your peace. Chosen one, as things open, remain grounded. Do not abandon the practices that sustained you in quiet seasons. Simplicity will keep you clear. Rest will keep you accurate. Integrity will keep you protected. You are not meant to be consumed by what comes next. You are meant to steward it. Influence will expand. Resources will increase. Responsibility will deepen. But your center does not need to shift. You carry the same inner agreement forward. There will be moments when others call what unfolds sudden. They will say it happened overnight. They will not see the years of quiet alignment that made it possible. Let them speak. You know the truth. Nothing about this is accidental. Nothing about this is rushed. It arrived because you were ready to receive without losing yourself. Chosen one, as this chapter closes, allow gratitude to rise without forcing it. Not gratitude for outcomes alone, but for formation, for the waiting that taught you endurance, for the silence that sharpened your hearing, for the ordinary days that built extraordinary capacity. You are not stepping into something foreign, you are stepping into what you have been becoming all along. Hold this knowing, carry it forward. What unfolds next will not require you to change who you are. It will confirm it. Chosen one, you have reached the end of this message, but you have not reached the end of the movement set in motion over your life. What has been spoken is not wish or imagination, it is alignment. Heaven has already authorized what is unfolding now, and you are standing in your exact Kairos moment, the appointed time where inner agreement meets outward release. The billionaire's blessing is not approaching from a distance, it is already circulating, already shifting patterns, already arranging people, timing, and opportunity in your favor. Remain faithful, anointed one. Stay aligned. Let gratitude go before you as proof that you know what is coming cannot fail. Carry this awareness into your days. Walk gently, but with authority. Speak less from fear and more from knowing. When doubt tries to rise, return to what your spirit already recognized today. If this word has resonated deeply, you are welcome to let it be witnessed, shared, or affirmed in the space below, not as obligation, but as agreement. And remember, sometimes God steadies the heart, not through loud revelation, but through something quiet and practical, placed with care for moments when strength needs anchoring, resting patiently in the pinned comment or the description. Chosen one, go in peace, remain expectant. The blessing is active, the timing is exact, and what has been released over you will come to completion.